And that leads us to our next conversation, because if we're not talking about traffic in this city, we used to talk about the crazy cost of homes. Now we're talking about the affordability crisis. And it looks like, despite everyone thought that when the Bank of Canada lowered its rate, it was going to help home sales. We were just waiting for that shoe to drop. Well, now the Toronto Regional Real Estate Board is reporting that home buyers are waiting for further interest rate reductions. They are sitting on the sidelines, and there are now more houses on the market compared to this time last year, but sales were lower than June 2024 than last year, despite the reduction in the interest rate. And what we're also finding is that Toronto condo sales have plummeted, and I mean plummeted, 28% in June. And it's not just condo sales, townhouses, detached, semi-detached, every number is down. And so I got a lot of questions, and fortunately, someone with the answers is Develle Morrison with Bosley Real Estate, and she joins us right now. Hey, Develle.
Hey, Ben, how are you?
Well, I'm good, but this can't be good news. Who's this not good news for? Let's put it that way.
Well, it's not good news for sellers.
Okay. So we're in a buyer's market.
Yes, we're definitely in a buyer's market. Now, it's interesting because, all the real estate markets in Toronto are definitely a microcosm, right? Yeah. So you still have some houses getting multiple offers. I'm finding some of the houses, for example, in East End, Riverdale, Leslieville, some of those houses that are, A grade quality, they will still get multiple offers.
But I've often wondered that, Develle. I've wondered if homes in a certain neighborhood above a certain price point where people don't feel necessarily feel the financial pinch that others feel, I have to wonder if those areas and those types of homes are more insulated against these headwinds.
Yeah, it's interesting to me about Leslieville because I remember back in 2008, the real estate market really didn't do well back then. Yeah. People were still buying in Leslieville. And so it's an interesting area in that it seems to be like this, protective shield that people still want to live there no matter what. Now, it doesn't mean the prices are still crazy there. There might be multiple offers and the offers don't go as high as you might think, but there are still multiple offers. Now, that being said, the condo market, not the same.
And Develle, right before I came in, I was, because I got up way early today, I was on Instagram and I saw a story by some young man. I guess he does Toronto real estate stuff. And he was talking about a condo right across from Square One that 2 years ago sold for $775,000 and it just sold for $500,000.
So that's the 905. And, I just got asked this question by a prospective buyer yesterday about if they're going to buy a condo, where they should buy it. And I really, this is a Toronto radio station. I'm going to say it's a Toronto 416 radio station. Okay. And the reality is that if you're going to buy quality, you're going to buy it in the core of the city. Mm. You're not going to buy it in the 905 in the outlying areas because of exactly the example that you just outlined. Now, that being said, this is a tough market for all condos, whether they're 416 or 905, but I think it's just that much tougher for 905. That being said, it is about quality as well, too. I recently had a listing that was beside the shops at Don Mills. It was over 1,000 square feet, 2-bed, 2-bath. Within 2 days, we got an offer on it. Mm.
But I've got to ask though, what's going to happen to all of these condo developments that are currently being erected across this city? If we can't sell the ones we already have, what hope? Are some of these going to be abandoned?
Well, I think what you've seen is a lot of so I believe it was about a month ago, they came up with some more numbers to say that condo sales were drastically down. And one of those reasons is because a lot of the developers, they can see what's going on in the market. So they're but very few of them are actually putting pre-construction condos on the market because they see that they're not selling. Right. So that's one of the reasons for the drastic drop. So people are reading the room. But interest rates are still pretty high for people. As you said earlier, we thought that 0.25% would make people go, woohoo, we're here. But it's not. No. They need to see a couple more drops. And so now it's debatable. Are we going to see that drop on July the 24th or not? We don't know. but we're still waiting for that real estate IKEA start the car moment.
My favorite commercial of all time. That is my favorite. It's the evergreen. They could air that 100 years from now, assuming retail still exists, and it'll still be funny. But before we end this, we got a few minutes left. I'd love to sort of hone in on your expertise for homeowners who put their homes on the market. They aren't being snatched up instantly. What can a seller do to try to attract better offers? Can they paint their house? Can they what are some of the tricks of the trade?
So what we do with clients is staging is a must. Yep. You absolutely need to stage your property, because if you don't stage, people are not going to feel that it looks amazing. And yes, we also encourage our clients to paint, to stage. We hire a professional photographer. Now is not the time to cheap out and take pictures on your cell phone.
Right.
You cannot do it justice. You need a professional photographer to do that for you. So those are some of the things, but it's also about putting the pictures in order, in a certain order on the MLS.
Really?
Oh yeah, people are just like, oh yeah, I can toss up any pictures. But when I'm flipping through listings on MLS and I see all these pictures of hallways or stairs, I'm like, what are you doing? Short attention span. Give them the goods up front. Give them the wicked shot of the kitchen or the living room or the balcony or whatever it is that's amazing about your space. That's what needs to be up close for people to see, because they don't have a lot of time and they're just going to keep clicking to the next property.
Is there a move by home sellers to do it, to go without the help of a realtor and do it themselves?
Sometimes some people do that. And sometimes they also beat up agents on their commission and say, oh, you could do this for 1%. But, I would always say to people, you get what you pay for.
Yeah.
And doing it yourself, everything that I just outlined to you before, making sure that you've got professionally done pictures, making sure they're in the right order, all that stuff you need a professional for. And so especially in a market where things aren't selling, now is exactly when you need a professional. And when I say a professional, I don't mean someone who is a realtor part-time. I mean someone who does this full-time, all the time, who does a number of deals every year. This is the time when you want expert advice. You don't want a fly-by-nighter.
Develle Morrison with Bosley Real Estate Limited. Thank you so much. Real insights. Normally at this time I say have a great weekend. I'll see you next weekend, but I suspect I'm going to talk to you again next week on Think Tank.
Okay, sounds good.
Awesome. Thanks so much. Take care.